Hey people, welcome again to Edbet Leadership. Across the world, people had to pause to reflect on one of the most profound moments in human history, the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. In this episode, I want to share some thoughts about leadership requires death, and most leaders avoid it. But I don't want us to approach this moment only from a religious lens. I want us to approach it rather from a leadership lens. Because what happened on Good Friday was not just sacrifice. It was leadership in its most powerful, yet most misunderstood form. Now, let me make a quick point here. The highest expression of leadership, in my opinion, is death. Not physical death necessarily, but the willingness to die to self in order to serve a purpose greater than yourself. And nowhere is this clearer than in the life and death of Jesus. Let's explore this thought together, this idea. What does it mean to practice death in leadership? And why is it necessary? And why do so many leaders avoid it, yet suffer because they do? Let's go to the text in the scriptures. In Philippians 2:5-8, it said, "Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus, who being in the form of God, did not consider it equality with God something to be used to his own advantage. Rather, he made himself nothing. He humbled himself and became obedient to death, even the death on a cross." Let's pause here. This is not just theology. This is leadership behavior. Jesus had authority, he had position, he had identity, and he had power. And yet, he chose not to leverage them for personal advantage. Instead, he set aside status. He released entitlement. He embraced vulnerability. He accepted loss. But why? Because leadership required it. Jesus understood something many leaders still struggle with today. Authority is a position. Leadership is an activity, a behavior, a choice. He had the authority to avoid the cross, but he chose leadership. He did not assert power. He mobilized purpose. Jesus demonstrated that leadership is not about having answers. It is about mobilizing people to face reality and make progress. And sometimes that mobilization requires personal sacrifice. Let me make this plain. Leadership is not about visibility, decision making. Leadership sometimes involves loss. And if you are not willing to experience loss, you will struggle to practice leadership. Because every real act of leadership will cost you something. Your comfort, your popularity, your control, your image, and often your ego. Jesus did not just teach sacrifice, he lived it. He experienced rejection, misunderstanding, betrayal, isolation, and ultimately death. You would ask, but why? Because the mission required it. Now let me try to bring this closer to where you are. Because this is not just about the person of Jesus. He serves as an inspiration, as an example. But this is about you and me. If we are serious about leadership, we must learn the discipline of death. What does death look like in leadership? It means dying to ego. It means dying to the need to always be right, the need to be seen as the smartest person in the room. It means dying to pride, the inability to apologize, the resistance to feedback. It means dying to entitlement, the belief that your position means others should serve you. It means dying to image, the fear of looking weak, the obsession with perception over progress. For example, an authority figure says, "I can't call my subordinates. If there is an issue, they should call me because I'm the authority figure." That's not leadership. That's ego dressed as authority. Because leadership will ask a different question. What action will move this situation forward? And sometimes leadership requires you to make the call, initiate the conversation, lower yourself in status. Not because you lack authority, but because you prioritize progress over pride. Now this is death in practice. You die to the need to be served and you choose to serve. You die to the need to be right and you choose to learn. You die to status and you choose responsibility. Let's be honest. This kind of leadership is hard because it confronts something deep, our identity. Many leaders build their identity on their title, their position, their recognition. So when leadership demands death, it feels like loss of self. But here's the truth. If your identity is built on your position, you will protect your position at the expense of leadership. But if your identity is anchored in purpose, you will sacrifice position for progress. Jesus, again, models this in such a beautiful way. He did not cling to identity as status. He embraced identity as purpose. And that freed him to do what leadership required. And this is the paradox. Death in leadership is not the end. It is the beginning. Because on the other side of death, trust is built. Credibility is earned. Transformation becomes possible. Jesus' death was not defeat. It was the pathway to redemption. What you are unwilling to die to will limit your capacity to lead. So today, as we reflect on this weekend, Good Friday, the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, let's see it as a symbol of leadership, as a model of leadership. A leadership that says, I will not cling to power. I will not protect ego. I will not avoid sacrifice. Instead, I will choose purpose over position. I will choose responsibility over recognition. I will choose leadership even when it costs me. And I need you to ask yourself, what do you need to die to lead effectively in your space? Is it ego, pride, entitlement, fear? Because until something dies, something new cannot live. Thank you very much. See you soon. Bye-bye.